All right, so today what we're gonna do, I'm outside by my bikes, my bike, Mary's bike, and we're gonna talk a bit about your motorcycle battery and your motorcycle charging system. Just to make sure that we know that if there's a problem with the charging system or the battery system, which is the problem? Is it the battery or is it the stator rectifier? Let's talk about that in a minute. All right, so especially this time of year and spring, so right now it's fall, we're coming into the end of the season soon. One of the things that you kind of want to be sure of is that your battery is doing okay. So as the weather gets colder and your oil gets thicker, that it has the ability to charge your bike, to start your bike in the cold weather. Also, which is important, is that you want to make sure that if your bike has been sitting for a little bit, even in the garage in the summer, or that you're about to go on a long ride, or you've just come back, that your battery is doing okay. Last thing you want to do is go on a good long ride and we find out that 2 days in your battery is not working. So kind of nice to know these things beforehand. So let's go through some of the information that we can look at in regards to your battery. One of the first things that we're going to need is a multimeter. There's a nice plane flying by. It's always exciting. Yeah, plane. All right, so there are two types of multimeters that you can buy. One is this kind right here. I'm just gonna kind of put that there so you guys can see it. And that's one of the old analog types. I don't normally recommend these because it's really hard, especially when you're testing to see if your starting amperage is doing okay, is to see where the needle is going. You want to be able to see a digital reading. So I'm not going to use this. The one we're going to use today is this guy right here. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. So this is just, you can get these from your local automotive store. You can get these off of Amazon, whatever. You're probably going to look in and around anywhere from about $40, $50, $60. If you can find them on sale, do it. But we're going to use this one. Now, if you can see this fairly close, one of the things that we're doing is that on a system like this, one of the things we don't have, this is 12 volt. So we're going to do voltage on this side. So the closest that we have is 20, so that's where we're setting it. Plug, black, red, black, red, we're good. And then simply, I'm just going to lay this here. Hopefully you guys can see that. We're going to turn this on. And that should read 0, which it is. Excellent. And all we're going to do is test to see that the battery is doing what it should. And the battery should be coming in mid-12s, 12.4, 12.5, 12.6, somewhere in there when the battery is not in use. So we're going to take simply negative, positive. We're going to go negative, positive, click, click, and we are pulling in right now. Good number. We're coming in at 12.66, so we're doing good. Now it should. This is a brand new battery, so that's what it should be doing. So that's excellent. Now that means that this battery is getting, or is holding, a good charge. What we want to do now is I'm going to go up here and we're going to start this, because what we want to see is if those numbers, how much they drop during the bike start, because that's where it's actually pulling a lot of power out of the battery to make sure that it has the ability to start the motorcycle properly. We also want to do this because once we start the bike, that's when your bike's charging system kicks in, and what it's doing is it's going to be putting power back into the battery. So the stator rectifier is going to be used to put power back in. We want to make sure that that number is coming in above about 14, because then we know that our battery is going to be getting a good charge. The number that we're looking at when we start the bike is for the battery not to drop below about 9.5, 9.6. All right, so let's set up for that and we'll be right back. So this is a little bit more difficult for me to do because I'm doing this by myself. I have to be able to hold the prongs on the battery as well as start the bike at the same time. So let's cross our fingers and see how this works, shall we? The first part here, again, we're gonna actually just put these on. Positive. We're gonna get that nice 12.5 number, right? Good. First, we're gonna just turn it on, okay? And we should see that number drop. And it'll drop all depending on how much stuff you have attached to your bike. And you can see that my bike is pulling actually a fair bit of stuff because of all the stuff I have hooked into it. And if I turn that back off, battery number goes back up again. I'm gonna see if we can get these attached so that this works and see if we can crank this sucker up. Okay, hold on. Okay, I seem to have this rigged so that this is measuring without me having to hold anything. All right, so let's start this up and let's watch that number. Okay, so two things happened there. One of the things is we saw that number drop into the 9s, so that was good. Dropping to the 9s is okay. Dropping into the 8s, not good. We want it to hit somewhere around the 9.5, which means it's got enough power for that bike to start. Anything under that, your battery is kind of on its way out, I'd say. It's not that it's gone, but just be aware that you probably are going to be looking for a new battery shortly. The other thing, which was really important, was that we saw that number spike once it started up into the 14s, which means that the charging system is working, which means this battery should be getting a good charge when it's running. Cool. Battery's working. Charging system seems to be working. Now let's talk about some other stuff. All right, number one. Another plane. You hear it? Yeah. Okay, so number one is you'll probably notice that I have my seat taken off. Now, some of us, this battery for one is pretty easy to access. Pop the seat off batteries right there. That's not true of all motorcycles. So having access to your battery is pretty important, which is why you want one of these. And I'm gonna kind of feed it through here, but it is this guy right here. Okay, I'm gonna bring that up so you guys can see that hopefully, maybe. This attaches to your battery, which means that you can have it hang outside, which is excellent. So if you have to charge your battery or if you have to attach some other gizmos to it, you can put it through this. This is an SAE connector, I believe is what it's called, positive negative. Now here's the bonus of this. When you have one of these outside of your bike, this, because it's attached directly to the terminals, this one here is the ground or the negative, and this one is the positive. So if I take these, what you'll see is if I pop this in here and this in here, there's my reading. I don't even have to take my seat off. So this connector will give me reading for my battery. So even when I start it, being able to hold these in will tell me if my battery is healthy and my charging system is working. Excellent. Leave the seat on. Happy about that. Other bonus of having something like this is that you can buy voltage meters that will plug into this. Now normally for me, I have this running up under my seat and it pops up right here. And I'm going to show you what I have. Just give me 2 secs. I'm back. Oh, getting too old for being down here on the ground. This is a 2-in-1. I got this from Amazon. This is it right here. I'm gonna just throw it up here so maybe you guys can see it right there. Okay. It's a little, you know, SAE to dual USB voltage adapter. Cool. So with this, and again, this is hanging out of my bike, what I can do is if I take this, which I usually have again sitting up here, and plug this in, first off, I get 2 USB adapters. Cool, so I can plug in my phone, charge it, etc., etc. Other bonus is if I take this and plug this just in, normally, I wouldn't have this in all the time, but hopefully you guys can see that. 12.4. Yep, good. 12.4. That's excellent. This, and if I start it, again, goes up to 14. You'll see it fluctuate. About $20 Canadian. Excellent little purchase. And when I don't need this, I just pop it off. I put it in my top case. Whatever. Put it in your tank bag, wherever you want to put it. Excellent little thing to have. And one of the things a lot of people don't realize, I found it the hard way, is a lot of us have these little USB adapters on our handlebars and things like that. And if it's a long period of time that these do draw some power. They draw some power, unless you have one that has an on-off switch. But if you have a normal one, it will draw some power if it's connected directly to your battery. So be aware of that. 2-3 weeks, you know, you have a standard battery in your bike, you could end up having it drop enough that it doesn't want to start. And that sucks. I can put this on and off whenever I so choose. Awesome. Last but not least, and this again really important for if your bike's going to be sitting for a little bit of time, even just a week. If it's going to be stored over the winter, if it's whatever, long periods of time, it's good maintenance is to have a simple, I'll pull one up here, battery tender. So this is a battery tender I got, cost me about $50. Bonus again is if you look at that end, there it is. This will connect directly into that connector on my bike. Because of that, as soon as I pull it into the garage, I can plug it in and make sure my battery is nice, maintained, topped up, running perfectly. So that tomorrow when I go to start it, up she goes. No issues. Really important. Hopefully this video gave you some information about your battery and your charging system, why it can be really important to have one of these SAE connectors, and I'm going to leave you there. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you again in the next video. Ride safe, my friends. Talk to you later. Oh yeah, just as a bonus for you guys, if you get one of those connectors, those little SAEs, one of the nice things is you can buy all kinds of little adapters for them. So we saw that I have the USB voltage adapter, saw that I can plug it into my battery tender, and just in case you're wondering, yep, right here, if you can see that right there, hopefully you can, that's a 18-inch female cigarette lighter adapter for SAE, so 12 volt. So things like my tire inflator runs on a 12 volt, has a little cigarette lighter style adapter. I just plug this in when I need it, unplug the USBs, and I'm good to go. There you go. That's all. I'm done. Later.